Man, do we have quite a bit to talk about today? Whew. I hope y'all brought y'all's coffee, your tea, whatever it is that you're choosing to drink today. Because boy, oh boy, Richmond was not short on drama at all. I mean, first, the Xfinity race, we have Joey Gase throw his bumper. And then we have the night race on Easter Sunday. And we have rain tires that get ran for the first time on a non-road course. And not really North Wilkesboro either. So, like, for really an official race, let's be honest. And, whew, boy, and causing teammate drama. I swear. I was prepared for tempers to be flying. I just, especially after, bumpers were flying. I just was not quite prepared, though, for the ending. That was Richmond to be like that. Or quite the start that we had. Most of the time, rain equals a delay in racing. We had rain on and off on Sunday quite a bit at the racetrack. I would know I was in my car trying to take a nap. I turned the back of my car, or my crossover, I should say, into a little area to take a nap. It's like, with everything that I'm going on, like, there's no way. It's a 7 o'clock race. It didn't stop to get me a Celsius or any kind of energy drink, and I am not drinking coffee at this hour. I'm just not doing it. So, a nap. So yes, rain. Had the radio playing. It was great. Richmond did a phenomenal job of celebrating Easter. If you wanted to participate, there was a service at like 3 o'clock at the amphitheater. Joe Gibbs was there doing his thing, and it was great. They had other events going on throughout the day. They did a great job. Lori, her team, phenomenal. I have to give it to them. Gates open, garage opened at 4. So, I got my bag. The line to get into the fan zone was ridiculously crazy, which was wonderful to see. I was so excited to see the number of people out, even with the weather being what the weather was, because they were like, what's this gonna bring? Like, are we still gonna go racing? Are we not gonna race? Are we gonna be delayed? Bob, do we have lights? Yes, we have lights, y'all. Yeah, the things that you see on Twitter, Facebook, or X, Facebook, the questions sometimes it's like, yeah, we're racing under the lights. It was one of those things. So, are umbrellas allowed? No, they're not allowed unless you're a race team. You gotta have a poncho on. So, just questions like that and fun things. Answering questions and the smells of the grills and people, tailgating, all kinds of funness. It was great. I loved it. And getting into the media center, getting there, getting everything set up, ready for the day, or I should say at this point, the night. They had a driver's meeting, and got to interact with some of the drivers, which was really cool. Right after the drivers meeting, because they were trying to stay dry too. I was like, okay. It was, and then before they would walk like the red carpet and before drivers introductions. So it was really neat to see everybody, see everything, and how they were all flowing, how things were going. While we were waiting to say, okay, NASCAR, are we delaying? Are we not delaying? What's gonna happen? Because we just didn't know. Then they were like, okay, we're putting wet weather tires on it. We got the track to like a dampness, but not like super wet. I'm like, okay, well, are we gonna avoid any more rain? And I'm like looking at the radar. I'm like, this still looks like we might get another skirt of some rain. But it went around us, thankfully. So then we started racing. Very interesting and fun first 30 laps on wet weather tires. I have to say, I was significantly impressed with how that went. They were much more, I should say, I wanted to say racier. The drivers were racing more than I expected them to be on the wet weather tires by far. Once they found the grip that they needed, we had battles between Chase Elliott and Kyle Larson, and all throughout. I mean, we don't normally see 3 and 4 wide at Richmond, and we got to see some of that with the wet weather tires. I have to slow that down a little bit. It's a little much, evidently, for me this morning. So, but what I guess I saw a lot of that angered quite a few of the fans, and I get it too, was why didn't, and I understand this too, from a NASCAR safety perspective. So what angered a lot of fans was NASCAR didn't dry pit road while we were green. And so they were like, why are we running so many laps under caution with pit road just closed and they're drying pit road now? So NASCAR has this thing, and we've talked about it multiple times over the last 7 seasons. It comes down to safety. And as we know, if anybody recalls, we have had a jet dryer hit before, Juan Pablo. So NASCAR, trying to be as safe as they could, threw the competition caution and closed pit road. That way, drivers knew that they couldn't come down pit road, because at any point during that first 30 laps, drivers could come down pit road. So if they were, doing what they needed to do by drying pit road, the crews could have been on pit road drying and been blocking up stalls, which could have caused a safety issue. So that is more of why NASCAR did it the way they did it. So I understand the safety item of it. Could have NASCAR done it where they just closed pit road while they were under green and tried to dry pit road that way? To me, that could have been an option. That would have been the option I think I would have gone with. But knowing them being on wet weather tires, not knowing how truly slick everything was going to be, I think they tried to do it the best way they could with the information we had, um, overall, with the wet weather tires, the limited amount of testing that they have done, and not in an actual full-on race like this on an oval, or in this case, like a almost D-shaped track that actually had rain, and not, oh, we're going to hose the track down, or a very limited number of laps on them. So, yes, did it, like, did they run a lot of laps under caution that we're all like shaking our head at? Yes. But was it for a safety reason? Absolutely. And so I understand the frustration on that. I do. And then the first non-competitive stop, I also see the frustration there. Like, but they didn't want to penalize teams for throwing that competition caution and having them come down and switch tires from, if they want, in most cases, everybody did, from the wet weather tires to slicks, which, can cause a whole different issue. So it was just one of those situations where things were just, this is a different race and all together. And I hope that NASCAR takes this race and learns from it. There was a lot of lessons to be learned across the board, for multiple things. Wet weather tires, restarts, multiple things. Kyle Larson, Bubba Wallace, they battled in stage 1 really hard. But Kyle Larson will end up winning stage 1. We do have a spin out with Daniel Suarez after, Josh Berry kind of moves him a little bit out the way. And Daniel Suarez was not happy with Josh Berry. But I have to give props where props is due. Daniel Suarez did a great job keeping it off of any walls and just, damaging his tires. So mad props to Daniel Suarez on that. And Josh Berry was tearing up the track for quite some time. We get back into stage 2. We go back to the Kyle Larson and Bubba Wallace and battle that they're having. And I'm like, okay, are we going to continue to see this for quite some time? Because it looks like these are the two that are battling hard for position 1. But then we watch further back in the field as Josh Berry does it again. He uses that fender that he just recently used to get Daniel Suarez out the way, that sent him spinning, to move Alex Bowman. He was not playing about using that fender, y'all. He was like, nope, y'all move. Get out my way. I'm tired of y'all. I'm gonna get around this track. Boop. Fender out the way. Like, literally. It didn't matter. Absolutely did not matter. It was interesting to see the aggression. And I'm pretty sure we're going to see more of it at Martinsville today. So just waiting to see how that plays out. Daniel Suarez did make a comment. He wasn't going to forget it. So I have a feeling that when Daniel can pay it back, that he will be paying that one back. So Josh is young in the Cup Series. And I understand that sometimes, you got to put a fender to some people to get around them. Tight corners. But some of these people don't forget things. And you might boot the wrong person sometimes. And you're quickly going to learn about it. I'm just saying. And I know it's not Josh's first rodeo in this series. He filled in for Chase for a while. I also know, he did a lot of short track racing. So again, it was fun to watch, interesting to watch, and definitely someone to keep an eye on now. See how all of that plays out. Martin Truex Jr. then came tearing up through the track as well. And, he made his way up to second after starting 7th. And we do see quite a few early entries in pit road during the second stage. So some people split the second stage in 2 halves, and some chose to only split it in 1 pit stop. We had 7 cars that decided to only do 1 pit stop, and the rest of the field did it in 2. But the 7 that decided to do it in 1 stop ended up getting hurt pretty badly, because right afterwards, we got a random caution. And we're all still trying to figure this caution out. I'm with y'all on that. Kyle Busch bounced off the wall, but we had Todd Gilliland bounce off the wall in stage 1, but no caution. So I'm still trying to understand that caution. I don't get it. I might not ever get it. But mysterious ghost cautions. That's all I got in this one. I don't have a reason. Don't have a reason. I can see, if he didn't get it straightened back up and kept going, but he just bounced off the wall and kept moving. So I don't understand why we needed caution. If anybody could tell me why we needed that caution, I would love to be enlightened, because I still haven't figured it out. And I was watching it, live. And I still ain't got a clue. I just don't. Can we... Yeah. Somebody fill me in. I would really like to be educated on that one, because those 7 drivers had literally just come down pit road, though. So it literally threw them off, and we, it threw those 7 off completely. They end up coming back down pit road, and we, go back to racing. And again, 3-wide racing in Richmond. It's like, whew, okay. We do get a little settled down finally. Martin Truex Jr. does win stage 2, and we officially hit at least the halfway point of this race. So if we do get rain, and NASCAR has to call it at this point, we're good. I'm like, okay, whew. Or we can go back to wet weather tires. I said rain, And in stage 3, there's reports of raindrops. And yeah, there were some. Not gonna lie. I walked outside. I was like, yeah. I feel some raindrops. But it wasn't like serious raindrops. Not enough to like slow or cancel the race at all. Which, is what we would be highly concerned about. Or what I was looking for. I'm like, nope, this isn't enough. So I'm like, okay, they're going to keep racing. This is a few raindrops, nothing to worry about. And then the rest of the storm like skirted well north of us. I'm like, they're not, no issues here. But we continue racing, and Martin Truex Jr. is doing what Martin Truex Jr. does at Richmond, and it looks really good, and I'm really excited because I'm like, maybe MTJ is going to get his first win of the season. It's gonna come at Richmond, where he's had multiple wins, and this is gonna be exciting. Fingers crossed. But no, it was too good to be true. This is when more drama officially happens. And this is where more people have conspiracy theories, ownership theories, and there's just so many theories going around. I don't know what the right one is, what the wrong one is. I just don't. Would I love to know what the right one is or what the wrong one is? Absolutely. That would be great. If I knew, I'd probably be a Mega Millions winner, but I don't have this information. But I'm also not going to be someone in the media. It was already done. And a driver's already called out. And that's the one thing that NASCAR drivers are good about, is calling, like, they either like media or they don't. And it really just depends. And in this situation, there was an interview done, and Bob asked the driver, Bubba, about the Kyle Larson getting loose and Bubba appearing to be loose, and that bringing out the final caution right before the stage ended, for the the checkered flag, which sent us into overtime. And how it might be perceived. And for me, it can be perceived in a couple of ways. One, that, there's still, animosity between the two of them because they have had a history. Or two, this was done on purpose because quote, the conspiracy theorist says it was done on purpose because Denny is his boss. And then it goes on from there. That's not my job. I'm not going to do that. I can't, and I won't, because that's what angers them and keeps them from talking to us as media members. So, they both said they were loose. They both said that it was a racing incident, both of them, not just one, but both. If something happened from another standpoint, I don't know. That's not for me to speculate, though. Can that have been the call? Maybe, but I don't have those facts, and I'm only going to report on the facts. So from my standpoint, and that's what I posted, it was a racing incident. It happened. Kyle Larson got loose. Bubba got loose. Both had a racing incident. Kyle Larson saved it very well. He came back better than Bubba did in the end. And as they said, karma was better off for Kyle Larson anyway. Did that send us into overtime? Yes. Did that set us up for Denny Hamlin's crew getting him out of pit road faster than Martin Truex Jr.? Yes. Did that lead to a possible or jumping of the restart? NASCAR has re-reviewed Sunday and Monday, and even looked now at the data and says both of them jumped the start now. So either way, and I'm sure Martin Truex Jr., went because Denny went. I get it. Denny says, yeah, he did go faster or went because he saw Joey leaning back. So he got a rolling start. There was other factors. So sorry, y'all. It's one of those situations. Will NASCAR be monitoring this more? Yes, they will, from what they said. It's not a good situation. I would not want to be the next person that does this. Because it might put them in a not so good situation. We'll just have to wait and see how everything plays out. But it's the ending definitely left dramatics. Martin Truex Jr. Bumped Kyle Larson and bumped Denny Hamlin after the checkered flag fell, because you could tell the frustration that he had, and I really can't say I blame him at all for being frustrated. That was his race to win until he lost it. And then he really lost it, sadly. And that bites. because he had an amazing night. And then to end it like that just bites for him. So hopefully things get better. Martin Truex Jr. has some time to reflect. Kyle Larson, says he didn't take anything that Martin Truex Jr. did to him personally. So we'll just have to wait and see how all of that comes out. And plays out here in the next several weeks. I think it shall be interesting how everything does play out as we see. As for penalties, Joey Gase does get penalized $5,000 for his bumper throw on to the track. So, but other than that, besides people not getting lug nuts tight, there were no other issues found at Richmond Raceway. So, and then we did get some cute and, we'll go with cute news, and then we'll go with the Richard Childress Racing crew chief change. Chase Briscoe and his wife Marissa Briscoe announced that they're having twins. Super cute for them. So congratulations, y'all. And lastly, Austin Dillon will have a new crew chief for the remainder of the season. They are bringing back Justin Alexander, who is replacing Keith Rodden on the top of the number 3. And then Joel Keller has been named lead engineer for the number 3 team. So, of course, Alexander has served as Dillon's crew chief multiple times in the past. He has stepped away several times as well. He wanted to, spend some more time with his family, but those two share very unique chemistry, and they've proven effective in the past. So we'll have to wait and see if RCR can get it back together, because they have seemed to have fallen apart. And then RCR also made an announcement this week that Austin Hill will be making select cup starts for this season as well. So that also shall be interesting to see. But I am not in Martinsville this weekend. If you couldn't tell, I've been a little sick, or as I stay nowadays. So I had to stay behind from going to Martinsville today. Hopefully I'll get to go this fall once I start feeling better. So, but we are at the beautiful Martinsville, and it's going to be a cool one. But we have Kyle Larson back on the pole. This is 2 weeks in a row. Lord have mercy. So that shall definitely, add to the chaos. As Hendrick is also celebrating their 40th anniversary at Martinsville Speedway this weekend. The green flag will wave at 3:11. And it's going to be on FS1. Pre-race coverage will begin with NASCAR Race Day on FS1 at 2 p.m. as well. Let's see. It is 400 laps. Stage 1 ends at lap 80, 2 at lap 180. If you need to listen to it, of course, Motor Racing Network will have coverage, or Sirius XM, channel 90. High of 62, but thankfully no chance of rain. Just a little brisk. Last time we were there, Ryan Preece won the pole for the last season's spring race. He led 135 laps and won stage 1. He lost his track position after a speeding penalty. Don't get caught speeding at Martinsville. It will bite you. Kevin Harvick won stage 2, but fell out of contention due to an issue with a lug nut on his right front wheel. And then we have Larson, who won by 4.14 seconds over Joey Logano. Whew. So he will definitely be somebody to watch. We have our two that battled it out a lot at Richmond from last week, starting on row 1. So Kyle Larson and Bubba Wallace are on row 1. Chase Elliott, Martin Truex Jr., Chase Briscoe, Joey Logano, Josh Berry, Denny Hamlin, Ryan Blaney, and Alex Bowman are your top 10. There are 15 Fords, 14 Chevrolets, and 8 Toyotas for the field of 37 cars for today's race. It will be fun, but it will be full of tempers. So watch out. We had rotors glowing at Richmond. They'll be back to glowing again today as we are at Martinsville and the paperclip. So I'll be back next weekend. The scenery might be a little bit different. But I'll be back next weekend. Talk to you soon. Bye, y'all.